Wonderful. All I'm going to do is introduce Aisling and Dorota. Hello, Claire.
I'm not used to that at all.
Yeah.
But it's an honor to be invited to discuss this beautiful show with you, Aisling. Thank you very much for that. And thank you, and Robert, for this opportunity. So as I said, I don't think I've been in this role, and I would normally be shy to ask questions in public. I wouldn't raise my hand. I don't like that attention. But here I thought, this is great. I can ask whatever I'm curious about.
Yeah.
And there is no other way. We have to keep going. So please forgive me if it's not flowing as you would normally expect the conversation, but I think it will be exciting. So could you tell us a little about yourself and your practice?
Oh, that's a big question.
Yeah, you can say anything, just for an opening.
So I'm originally from Dublin. I moved to West Cork about 30 years ago. I spent all of my summers in Myrtleville, which is a lovely little village close to the mouth of Cork Harbour. And I was very fortunate. We had a house there, and we were literally there for 3 months every year. I spent all my time at the beach or in the water and learned how to swim in the sea. So I never learned in a swimming pool, I just learned from being on. So I think that's where this absolute love of the ocean has come from that childhood experience. And my dream was always to come back and live next to the sea, which I realised 30 years ago. I now am part of a group of people called the Lochine Lappers, and we swim very regularly in a saltwater lake, which is very close to my home in Baltimore. It's a marine nature reserve, and I go into the water with snorkel on, so I get this amazing perspective on the world. And because it's such an interesting place to swim in terms of different kinds of systems. So one side you'd have a lot of scallops, a lot of shells, starfish, and then another side you'd have very deep troughs with things like light bulb sea squirts and sponges. So there's really, really different kind of ecosystems there. So I started bringing a camera with me and taking photographs underwater. And that has really informed a lot of my work.
That's great. So that's also the origins for that show.
Yeah, I mean, all of it, my work has been about the sea for a long time. The emphasis has changed, I suppose. And so a lot of the kind of surfaces and things that I do in the work has come from that, but nothing, well, very little of it is actually representational. It's sort of an amalgam of feelings and images that come to me as I swim.
I will come back to the swimming part. So you haven't always been living next to the sea.
No.
Who I understand,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it was a choice.
Yeah, oh, it was definitely a choice.
Yeah.
At one stage I was living in Greater Manchester and I was so kind of homesick for the sea. I knew I'd never stay there.
All right.
Yeah.
And do you have like an early memory of learning how to swim?
I remember the very first day I swam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
So I was in a little place called Divor, which is in Myrtleville, and it's an inlet. It's very rocky, there's no sand there, very tidal. And I was just in the water with my hands on the bottom of this, on the ground, just moving along and pretending to swim.
Yeah.
And the tide came in. And I realised that I had been swimming for some time and that I hadn't got my hands on the ground anymore.
That's so beautiful and so powerful.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 4.
4?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
I have a completely different, I work with water as well,
Yeah.
but I perceive water to teach me lessons when I work with it.
Yeah.
And I swim, but I'm not very comfortable in water.
Yeah.
And I perceive it as a lesson, like I can cross my boundaries more and more.
Yeah.
So I have a huge appreciation for people who are like you. That's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like I'm a fish, and
Yeah.
I used to feel like that I was kind of more comfortable in the sea than not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love books. I brought one because there's a quote about swimming in the Atlantic. This is my sea. I don't know if you know that book. It's a lovely exploration of grief and recovery by Miriam Mulcahy, and she writes, "The secret to swimming in the Atlantic is time. It takes a good 10 minutes to truly warm up and get used to it. Your body untenses, becoming as languid as the jellyfish you must remain attentive to. You aren't thinking, you are feeling."
Yeah.
And I thought about your work and your...
Yeah. I think that's another reason why I love it. And I love the thing with the snorkel now, using that, because you're in another world, completely other world. You're transported, you're not in, your everyday life. And the other thing is that you're also in a dangerous place. It's not a completely safe environment. So you're just a little bit aware all the time of what's going on around you. Is there anything near you that you don't like?
Yeah.
When I first started doing distance swimming, I was terrified of everything. And if a piece of seaweed touched me, I'd nearly jump out of the water. It was just. But I've become really used to that now.
Mm-hmm.
But I do find, that you have to respect it.
Yeah.
And you do end up in situations that are very uncomfortable, and you have to be very careful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I suppose there's this slightly edgy thing to it as well. Yeah.
I was thinking, I asked you, I think, about at the opening, about touching your work, that there is a huge tension and I would like to touch it, and I can see myself wanting that and this desire. And then after, I don't know, a week or so, I was thinking about it, and then I thought, but it's actually maybe like a rule in diving or snorkeling that you just watch and you don't touch, you respect.
Yeah, absolutely. If you ever go coral diving or anything like that, you're always told not to touch anything and not to interfere. And Loch Eyen is a marine nature reserve where I swim. And so that's exactly, you're not allowed to take anything from there. There's only one boat allowed in it, which is a science vessel.
All right.
So there's no interference with, there's no engines, so it's a really exceptional place. But it is very much about, we have to take care of our oceans. We have to take care of this life that's here underneath us. And even, I even find that I swim to a particular place, we call it the Gap at the lake, and you can stand there. So you might swim for maybe, I don't know, 800 meters, something like that, and then you can put your feet down. And but I'm really careful about what's underneath and not disturbing it. And all of us who are in my group, we all feel like we're custodians as well. That we're really mindful. Like none of us would put on any creams or anything going into the water because we want to make sure that we're not interfering with that.
Yes.
And we're also quite. We have kind of a sense of ownership of the lake as well. So there was one recent incident where somebody came down with this massive rib and started to back down the slip with the rib to push it into the lake. And everybody went crazy. It was like, you can't do that. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So there was no wardens needed. It was like,
Incredible.
Yeah.
Now I have my script, but it's very difficult to go, which is good. But I thought that we'll go back to your work here. And what I wanted to ask is, how did your journey with the porcelain start?
Oh, well,
because that's
it started a long time ago, really. So I used to do quite figurative work, and I used to make these women, and I called them Queens of the Sea. And each one represented a different aspect or a different creature in the sea. So I would have had like a starfish queen and a periwinkle queen and a cockle queen or whatever, and all different kinds of shells. So that started that. Then I went to Egypt, and I went swimming in the Red Sea. Was it the Red Sea? And I started taking photographs of the corals and things there. And I thought, oh, I'd like to do a coral queen. So I was using like a really, really heavy clay, really gritty clay kind of. I suppose if you were to compare it to fabrics, the clay I was using was like hessian, and porcelain is like silk. So about as opposite as you could get. And I couldn't get the coral with this clay because it was too rough and too gritty and too. So a couple of my students are here from last year, and I would have given them that clay to use. So I thought I'll try using porcelain. So I started doing kind of the heads, the tops, the headdresses, if you like, in coral with porcelain, and that was it worked and it didn't. The two clays shrink at different rates. There was cracking. Things wouldn't work together quite as well as I wanted it to. But that was the beginning. Yeah. And then I realised that I actually wasn't enjoying making the figures at all, and I was only interested in what I was putting on top. So it sort of evolved from there.
Was there a particular work when you had that realization, or that was a
I think it was making. I might have made 3 of those kind of queens, and then the last one I kind of realised I actually don't want to make the figures anymore.
Yeah. It's good to just observe, I think, what you actually enjoy doing, and that can lead you somewhere.
Yeah. So it was really like, why am I making these figures anymore?
Yeah.
They're not meaningful anymore for me.
Yeah, I understand. I think when you can't answer the question why, but you also don't find any pleasure from it, then there is like a warning sign.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
That work is done.
Yeah.
I've kind of answered all the things I needed to answer within myself doing that work.
And could you tell us a little bit about porcelain, how the process looks like? Just the general idea, because that looks so complex, and we're not going into details of your secrets and years of work and development, but just the general.
So most of these are using porcelain paper clay. It's very, very strong when you're using it, when you're building with it. It's very sticky though. It's quite tacky, it's quite tricky to use. It took me a long time to get used to it. It was very, very different to the other clay that I had been using. I developed these techniques by making multiples. So I kind of got into, so it's sort of like a meditation nearly making them. You have to be in a very particular frame of mind. You have to really calm yourself down, and I like that. So it's a kind of therapy nearly doing them as well. And each piece is made individually, and then they're all put together.
I'm just measuring my time, I'm sorry. But you fire it in.
They're fired, and I found as well that normal practice with ceramics is that you would you do a biscuit firing, and then you do a glaze firing, and I would have done that with these at first, but I found that they were really, really brittle after the biscuit firing, and a lot of stuff I would lose it between biscuit firing and glazing it. So I started doing once firing. So I would dry them, glaze them, and then fire them, but fire them in a very slow glaze firing. So very slowly. Having said that, the odd time I would do it really fast to get them to warp. So to make things flop and make things. So if you fire them faster, so there's a piece inside in the back room there, and it's a sea anemone, I've called it. And it's made using long strips of porcelain. And when I put that into the kiln, they were all straight, you know, they were all completely straight. And I fired it so quickly that they all warped and fell over, but I wanted them to do that, and that's why I did that.
So I don't, work with that medium, so I have no idea. And I was wondering if there is a place for accidents before putting into a lot.
A lot of work gets lost, to be honest.
That's
I mean,
what
not everything works.
Yeah.
If anybody who's ever worked with ceramics will know that you lose work, and that's just part of the process. And I'm quite comfortable with that now.
Yeah.
I'm able to let it go when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I can get a little bit stubborn as well, and I'll keep at something, and that's something I really want to work, and I have done that to my detriment. Some ideas, some processes, and some ways of working will never work because porcelain just won't let it.
Yeah.
So I've had disasters as well.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
And did you have that you take it out and you were amazed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or,
is there work like that here that you were just?
Well, one of the things is opening the kiln and seeing the work and thinking, oh, that looks great, and then realizing it's stuck to the shelf. And that's the end of it. That's the only time it's going to look great, because you just got to go and get that chisel and get it off. Yeah. So yeah.
I didn't know about that denture.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So that's, you're there and you're going, oh, wow.
And why it gets stuck?
Yeah.
Why it gets stuck?
The glaze, well, porcelain is so tricky that it'll warp in the kiln, and sometimes, even though you've made sure that the glaze is only on the top, and something will warp and dip down and touch the shelf, and I
see.
Yeah.
Okay, the last general question is about your color palette, which is mostly white.
Yeah.
Which I can, very much refer to because I limited myself. Sure. I thought that all the colors in the world, they make me I have a headache. I don't know what to choose and how to justify my choice. Yeah. Because everything has to make sense. I prefer to do, I'll do black and white, and I don't have to think about it anymore. And I will see what I can work out within it. So I can refer to your white, but I'm curious, where does this come from? Have you always worked like that?
No. Mm-hmm. Again, this is all particular to the porcelain work, really. I have used colour with it. I always felt it looked a little bit gaudy or something. It just didn't need it. But that's not the part of the reason is that, I was thinking about bleached corals. I was thinking about, all of the dead stuff that's at the bottom of the ocean, and not only, some of that is good. It's not all bad. When I first started doing it, I was swimming around the island in Lochine. There's a little island in the middle of Lochine, and at the back of the island, there's a very particular spot where there's just the whole bottom of the ocean is just covered with oyster shells. And they're glistening with the nacre, which is the luster, mother of pearl luster, and they're all kind of bleached out, and it's where the crabs go and feed and leave all this stuff. And so I was thinking about that, and then I was thinking about how bleached corals are a bad thing. Yeah. That this is, so they're kind of a warning as well, that we don't want this to happen. Yeah. That we don't want to end up, going snorkeling over what was once amazing coral, but is now just bleached and dead. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a warning in there as well.
Yeah, it's a danger, but it's also beautiful.
Yeah,
because
it is
the
beautiful.
light plays
and
with
it, and it's important as well.
Yes,
it's not. There isn't one truth to it.
Yeah. And you mentioned that, so I forgot. It was at the beginning of my script. The title of the show. Could you tell us a little the title of the show, Nacria?
Oh, Nacria. Yeah. So I made that up. But
well done. Good word.
Yeah. But it comes from nacre, which is the iridescent material that forms inside of shells and that pearls are made of. So that material is you know, it's beautiful, it's protective, it's mindful. So it's quite important. It kind of sends out, you know, a lot of different messages for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's protecting, and it's beautiful, and we need to mind it as well. And
Yeah.
it kind of minds the ocean too.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting
Yeah,
material.
yeah. It's a beautiful title. So I
you.
understand that that's the message you would like to send
Yeah.
to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. So now coming back strictly to the show, it's structured around 3 sections,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In 3 different rooms.
Yeah.
Here we have circulation,
Yeah.
here memory, and the last room is scientific intervention.
Yeah.
And I thought that maybe we'll discuss some works with
Sure.
with each room. So I wanted to ask you about this absolutely stunning piece, Sea Worms,
Yeah.
which I have no idea how you managed to do it. It just feels impossible. I love how it is suspended from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Could you tell us the story behind it?
I was last summer. I was swimming off Hare Island, which is off the southwest coast, quite near my home. We have a boat. We anchored to the boat. It's really, really tidal there, you know. So we had to anchor the boat way out because we didn't want it to run aground. And I decided that I would swim out to the boat instead of going out in the punt. So I was swimming out to the boat, and I've swum there loads of times, but I'd never gone quite as far out. And so when the sand ends there, it starts to get really, really muddy underneath. And as I got close to the boat, there were all of these sea worms coming out of the mud. Like they were like little tubes coming out of the mud, and their feeders were out, and they were feeding. And normally you don't see them because the minute that they see any movement or anything in the water, they'll just go back into the mud. But the water was really, really murky, and so they didn't see me. And so I just had this amazing moment of witnessing this. I had my camera. I couldn't take a photograph because it was so murky. It just wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
So it just was something that was in my head, and I felt I had to celebrate it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And the sea worms, they are important from the.
They're feeders.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're
feeders,
feeding.
yeah.
Yeah, they're feeding on all the little plankton and yeah.
I was wondering how do you work out that experience into your work? Like, do you make drawings or?
No.
No.
Directly.
Directly?
I did that directly. Yeah, I didn't even do maquettes for that. I just went and did it straight away.
Wow.
I just made one, and then I kind of thought, yeah, I kind of like what's happening here. I'll have another go. And then I went and measured the height of the kiln in the sculpture factory, and I did them as tall as the biggest, as the highest. So that was the size restriction basically, unless I wanted to make them in sections, which I didn't. So.
And the sea worms, they can be very small and very big. I
Oh,
understand.
they can't. But these were tiny. These
These
were
were
only about
tiny.
this size. Yeah.
But the memory was.
Yeah, it was a big memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you know, I've been swimming a lot, but when you see something new as well, it's very exciting. Yeah.
I was watching. Well, I've seen your work before, but I was also searching online your previous projects, and I was wondering if you were suspending works from the ceiling before, or you started going off the wall now with that show.
Off the wall now.
Off the wall now, because I really like that direction.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah, me too.
in ocean, things also are suspended, right?
Yeah,
So,
it makes more sense to me. Yeah, no, it was a very exciting departure for me to do that. Yeah,
amazing.
I'm really happy with it. Yeah, yeah.
And we discussed that before, but do you play with that desire, like that? You really would like to touch it gently. Do you play with? Do you think about the audience thinking about it? That that they want to touch?
Oh, I don't mind if people
You
touch
don't mind?
it. No, I don't.
All right.
Yeah, as long as they're careful.
Yeah.
They
all
don't
right.
kind of start swinging it off the wall.
Have you ever thought of making work especially to be touched, like really
But
touched?
I think it should be touched.
Yeah.
I don't have a
Very
problem.
good.
Yeah.
All right. I
Yeah.
didn't know now.
Yeah. But gently.
Well, I think it's the show which asks for respect.
Yeah.
And being gentle. Yeah. We talked a little bit about the splash, but I thought that maybe you can say a little bit about this one as well, because I found it.
One of the things that I came across recently was that one drop of water takes 1,000 years to circulate the ocean. And I just made the splash as a kind of an homage to that. So it's the one drop of water has made this splash as it enters the ocean and it starts its journey. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like the pipettes. Is that also a recent?
Last year I had the good fortune to go on the Tom Crean Science Vessel. So it was part of an artist's residency. So 6 artists were chosen to go. It was called the Waves of Change, all very different kinds of work. So we went on the Tom Crean. We worked with marine scientists on the ship, looking at the kind of experiments that they do and the kind of data that they collect. And then I had a month-long residency in Galway afterwards. And so there was a lot of interventions with different scientists and things, it was really, really stimulating, really exciting. And one of the scientists gave me the glass pipettes that are in the center of that piece. So I just thought, I was thinking about, science interventions with the ocean at the moment. There's a lot of work going on about scientists using data to inform us, but also to make improvements and to help clean the oceans. And some of it is kind of crazy, things like making coral to make more coral, that kind of thing, but good, So I just thought it would be really interesting to put the pipettes into something that was essentially organic, but really speaks to that a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How did you find working with along the scientists?
I loved it. Yeah, they're really. One of the things that artists do, is experiment a lot, and they do too. So we had that in common. They think very logically, though. So that was interesting as well. And then what was also interesting was that how each scientist had a very strong focus. So one was just only interested in worms. One was microplastics. Somebody else was fisheries. So there were lots of different elements to it all. So it really kind of broadened up kind of the whole scope for me, I suppose.
Yeah. Do you think that art could help science carry the message?
Well, that's what that whole residency was about.
Yeah.
At the end of the residency, we had a kind of an open weekend, where the public came in, but also all of the science community came in.
So good.
And talked to us about what we had done and where we could go, to help that. So what I'm doing here today is an extension of that, really, is talking about caring for the oceans, which is exactly what they wanted, was an outcome that they were looking for, really, from that residency,
That sounds really amazing.
Yeah.
I had a slightly different experience. I went to the Arctic Circle Assembly in Reykjavik. There were different lectures about what's going on, about the climate change, what can we do. And one lecture was about drilling the ice. I forgot the word, but anyway, they were talking about it, and then one person from the audience stood up and asked the question, like, do you have any pictures from around the place you were drilling? And it was a teacher, and the scientist couldn't understand the question. Why would you take pictures of the place? And the teacher said, because I would like to tell my students how it looks, and also how gorgeous it is. And I really felt that there, like, this Galway experience sounds amazing, but there is a lot work to be done, I think.
It was so much data collection. There was so much data collection, and so much of the visuals essentially were just graphs and things, you know, which was,
And don't you find it like overwhelming? How do you deal with that? Because when you read a lot about it, it's so
too much.
Depressing. It's too much.
It's too much. Yeah.
How do you approach that?
Well, this is.
Do you go swimming?
This is you know, this is the approach. Yeah.
So it doesn't.
I think you can't take it on.
Yeah.
You know, I keep using this metaphor, but you know, we are just one drop in the ocean, but we can all make a little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
And that'll just help. You know. You cannot take it all on.
No.
It's just huge,
Yeah.
and it would just the weight of it would just completely overwhelm you. Yeah.
That's why I like this show, because as you said, I heard you say, it's not my wording, but I love it, celebration of the sea, or celebration of the ocean. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
I think when you share your love for the ocean, and when you love someone, you care. And I think that's a very good direction, instead of like hitting with all the facts, which just makes us like, I'm frozen.
It's too much.
It's too much. There are other works in this scientific intervention, which I think are inspired by that residence in Galway.
So there's work in the very back room, which is there's a lot of it in glass domes. So as I just mentioned, there are corals and things in glass jars there, and I was just thinking about how we do not want to be looking at coral in a museum in glass jars in the future, and that, you know, this is again, you know, addressing that. I have a whole series of little drawings on the side there, and they're all of a slice of whalebone, which I had the good fortune to come across in the artist Rachel Parry's studio when I was visiting her studio there. And I just got obsessed with that and had to draw it over and over again. So they're just kind of, I suppose they're commentaries on, are we going to be just dissecting it and putting it in jars? Or are we going to really take care of it? Yeah.
And one of them was given by, I don't know how to pronounce that name.
Joao.
Yes, I wrote it down, but I don't know where. The
first one I did is there's a little scientific kind of glass funnel, and Joao gave me that, and I went, what'll I do with this? And then I thought, I know I'll put some fake coral in there.
Yeah.
And just start that conversation. Yeah. Which then led to these pieces here, which were the coral conversation pieces. So, again, it's. This is the kind of memory room. So they're a little bit about, do we want to be just sitting around having conversations about the ocean after it's gone? You know, these are the corals sort of talking to each other as well about what used to be. I put them on those really old chairs because they're mine from way back, and I have them on little lace pieces that were from my family home. So kind of that whole kind of reflection on nostalgia, and is that what we want to have? Or are we looking towards a better future than that? Mm-hmm. So kind of ghosts from the future, I suppose. Yeah.
It's a beautiful collection. Yeah,
okay.
With these chairs. Yeah.
And then these pieces here, these are the little embroideries. Are in the centre of each of them is a different place that is quite close to where I live or where I go to. So there's the fascinate. So they're just taken, the images are taken from coastal charts, and then I've embroidered them. And the idea is that, you know, our coastlines are changing because the sea levels are rising. So what we're looking at here, you know, could be different in 10, 20 years' time. So I've put them into these kind of urchin-y type surrounds, but the urchin, it's also inspired by reliquaries. Yeah. So that goes back to when I was in school, actually. So when I was in school, I went to a school where we had a little chapel, and there was a relic in the chapel, and there was a reliquary, and they had a tiny little, I can't even remember whose it was a little bit of cloth or bone or something in the center of this, and then this hugely elaborate design all the way around, and the whole idea was, you know, the preciousness of what was in the middle. So that's what I was looking at when I came to here. So these ones here are all, so as I said, there's the fascination, there's the stags and the kedge and Castle Island. And then this one here is different to these in that they're all land masses, and this is Loch Eyne where I swim. So it's a reliquary of the ocean instead of the land. Yeah.
I really like that they are not all in the center. They are placed in the different places in the frames.
Because they move around at night. Can't help them.
And how did you start with the embroidery? Is it new now?
No, my mum was amazing when I was growing up. We did loads of handcrafts together.
Mm-hmm.
We used to do rug making and embroidery and patchworking and everything, and knitting. She just taught me all these different things. So I used to do an awful lot of embroidery, and when I was a teen, I had jeans covered in Celtic designs, and I was embroidering names of bands on my school bag and doing jackets for people and all of that. But I hadn't done it for years.
It's incredible how it comes back, and it feels just right to do it in
it was
this
just
way.
the right thing. Yeah,
you can feel it in your body almost.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, it's a lovely kind of memory to her as well.
Yeah. So you're doing something.
Yeah, so there's lots of levels of memory in the piece.
Yeah.
You know, it's not.
I really liked that your wording, what you said. I don't know if it was about the show or the statement, stitching absence into presence.
Yeah.
I thought this is so beautiful.
Yeah.
The erosion.
And that's what it is, you know.
Yes.
It's like missing that amazing time, you know, but at the same time really embracing it and celebrating it as well. Yeah.
I generally had that feeling like time is really embedded in the material and your work.
Yeah. It doesn't happen quickly.
It
doesn't happen quickly, no.
No? Can you tell us a bit about it?
Everybody asks me, how long does it take to make that? And I have absolutely no idea, because nothing gets made in isolation.
Yes.
You know, so you might be working on a number of different things at the same time. Because you're waiting for something to dry, you're waiting for something in a kiln, you know, so I actually don't know how long any of it takes. And sometimes I wouldn't be happy with something. I'd need to leave it there and look at it and then wait for what needs to happen next to come to me. Yeah.
It's working at the back of your head. What's going to happen with that piece?
Yeah, and you know, you do have those moments when you wake up in the middle of the night going, oh, that's what I should do.
And another way of looking at time are your photographs.
Yeah.
And that's another thing from your wording, ghost-like traces.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about it?
So my jellyfish here, again, they're kind of that idea of ghosts from the future. Do we want them to be ghosts from the future? So they're kind of quite ethereal looking here. I've made them like that on purpose. I wish they were like that in real life. There's far too many of them at the moment. It's a bit of a problem. But they are beautiful. They're absolutely stunning. And I kind of love them and hate them at the same time. Yeah. I mean, I do get stung, you know. And it's not fun. Yeah, but.
So this is like present to the future, and this is past to present. This one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the drawing here.
Yeah.
This is present. This
Yeah,
is about
yeah.
looking.
It's just a little
yeah,
piece of
Yeah.
bladderwrack floating in the sea. Yeah, and the drawing is done on the reverse side of the paper. So the paper is very thin, but it's handmade Thai silk paper, and so very often in the water you'll just see these tiny little filaments. They're little bits of plankton, and so that was the reason for doing it like that, so that the feeling of those little bits of plankton are coming through the. Yeah.
And there is one more work which you mentioned, and I would like to discuss. It's just behind there,
Yeah.
the font.
The font, yeah. So that's kind of, I didn't know whether to call it font or cocoon. It kind of, I suppose it encapsulates the whole idea of the show of being mindful and minding something, and it being, that there's mother of pearl in the centre of that. It's minding the object that's inside in it, and the object that is in it is my christening robe. And it took me a long time to figure out what was the right thing to put in there, and that was a definitely wake up in the middle of the night moment when I went, that's what should go in there. And I went online onto Vinted. I bought another christening robe. And then got bombarded with emails about christening robes for weeks afterwards. And I brought it home and it didn't work. It had to be my one. Yeah.
It's amazing that you had it.
Yeah.
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 So I believe you were, as you mentioned, you must have been brought up in a religious way.
Not particularly.
Not particularly,
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Because you refer to that.
Yeah.
I was in Poland very much so.
I had my mum was Church of Ireland, my father was Catholic.
All right, it's another story there.
Yeah, big story there. So my mother was really an atheist, to be honest. But my father was very conscious of us having to be Catholic. But we weren't really
interested.
We weren't embedded in it.
Yeah,
I have to say. But in fact, I'm the eldest, so my father at the time had to sign something when they got married to say that he would bring up his children as Catholics. And so I was Catholic educated. I have a sister and two brothers. They were all Protestant educated. I was the only one because they kind of eased up on it afterwards. But
that sounds like, I don't know
yeah.
that kind of stories from
Yeah,
Poland.
it's very complicated. Yeah. So I don't. It's funny when I went to college in England, people kind of said to me, "Are you, really religious, or are you not, or what, or do you hate it?" And I said, "Well, neither." And they said, "Well, you're the first Irish person I've met that is like that either has a really good relationship with religion or really resents it."
Yeah.
And I think that was probably why, because it wasn't a big thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Not
Very
like some
interesting.
Catholic families.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe anyone has any questions, because we're talking and talking.
Can you just explain to me, these bits here are actually natural, are they not? These are...
No, I made all of those.
You made all of these?
Yeah.
It's just that they remind me of the casings for barnacles.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the inspirations.
Okay.
Yeah. They're pieces of porcelain. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And it was originally, when I started that kind of technique, I was thinking about barnacles, but I was also thinking about, that when a splash is made, that foam that's in the water. Yeah. So it was kind of a mixture of both of those.
Okay. Great. And that's the same on your...
Yeah, they're everywhere. Yeah, I got carried away.
It's incredible. It's so natural.
Thank you. Thank you.
You play a lot with the space between abstraction and representation.
Yeah.
Like we have associations, but
Yeah.
something is not.
Yeah. I don't want it to be representational.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't want to be an illustrator, you know.
Yes, yeah.
It's much more than that.
But it's a very interesting space, I think, in between, that you have associations you can rely on, but then you look and it doesn't match and something's happening. Yeah. I like that space myself.
I think that's kind of the space you go into when you swim. You know, this sort of kind of dream-like, not quite real, and everything is glanced because you're moving all the time as well. So, and even when you do try and stop and take photographs, the water's bobbing, you know. So you're never static, you know.
That's such a beautiful observation. Yeah. I think it refers to the show beautifully. Anyone else? Yeah.
I'm the most ignorant amongst. Could you tell me the basic raw material of porcelain? Is it like a wet clay? Or
I buy it in a bag, as a wet clay.
What do you buy a bag of exactly?
Porcelain paper clay.
Yeah. Porcelain and that's a wet substance.
It's like sticky, like Play-Doh, you know, sticky, tacky. Yeah.
And then you put it into a kiln and dry it.
Yeah.
And it sets fairly quickly then, does it? Or?
No, you model it first and then you fire it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Yeah.
Just something I'm observing in myself. Actually, this fabulous work.
Thank you.
These memory pieces in the jars.
Yeah.
They immediately strike me as something parallel to what we experience when we go into the Natural History Museum, what we call the Dead Zoo.
Yeah.
And I always have a duality of emotion going.
Yeah.
You know, there's stuff that's in there that is available to me because I can't be in the place that I came from.
Yeah.
But much more so that it's either now rare or extinct.
Yeah.
So while I have massive admiration for what I'm seeing, I always leave the place kind of sad.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange. And I'm a scientist, and when I started off working in laboratories, we had lots of specimens of diseases in these kind of jars, preserved. So the Dead Zoo experience makes me feel very negative about where things are. But when I think back now to the start of my career, and I think about the awful disease situations that occurred, are preserved in those jars, that now no longer exist because they've been cured.
Yeah.
I have this parallel of hope.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And I have the Dead Zoo on that side.
Yeah.
So I find this, it's hitting me now.
Yeah. I have to say, one of my absolute favourite places in Dublin when I was growing up was the Natural History Museum, and I haven't been in it for years. I haven't been in it since it reopened, you know, but I loved the whole Victorian kind of experience of it. I don't know if it's still like that. And I loved the cabinets as well, and the displays, and I loved going upstairs and opening all the drawers and looking at all the stuff. And then when I went to live in England, I absolutely adored the Pitt Rivers. I don't know if anybody's ever been there in Oxford, but it's the most astonishing place. The same thing. So the kind of, I suppose that sort of museumology of things is kind of interesting to me as well. Because those were places of wonder and always great for, I used to go there drawing all the time, you know. But now I'm in the real world. It's different.
Can I ask just two kind of practical questions? One is, if you're a daily swimmer in Lough Erne,
Not daily.
yeah.
Yeah.
Over a 30-year period, just in that particular site,
Yeah.
are you seeing very serious changes?
It's actually really, really interesting, because at the start I thought there was big changes from year to year, and then I realised that there were cycles. So, for example, the first year I was swimming, there were the most incredible amount of starfish. Like, it was crazy, it was ridiculous. And then they were gone. And I thought, oh my God, something terrible has happened. But what it is the starfish had fed on everything they could possibly feed on and moved off. And so then there was another cycle of other things growing, so and developing. And I've noticed that over the years. So I'm not taking data, so I couldn't be absolutely sure. But I have noticed, yes, there are changes. The first year I was swimming there, one of the things that I came across a lot were what we call sea butterflies, and they're like sea slugs, but they have little wings and they fly in the water, and they look like butterflies. They're quite small, and this year in the lake there were sea hares, which I'd never ever heard of until this year, which were bigger slugs basically, and doing the same thing. So every year there's something new. And then there have been years, like there's one urchin that has been there since I started for 10 years, as in the same place. In the winter it goes back a little bit into the crevices, and in the summer it comes out a little bit, and it's just there all the time. And they live to a great age, I believe. So
Second, just quick
Yeah.
question is just, you mentioned that we had some students here.
Ex-students now, they've graduated.
There's one, I'm interested in where you teach, and two, how important to you is the teaching part of your artistic practice?
Well, I taught full-time for over nearly 30 years, I'd say, over 20 years anyway. And in the last few years, I've gone part-time, so I'm teaching 2 days a week. Part of the teaching full-time was practical, paid the mortgage, paid the bills. Since I've gone part-time, my practice has completely changed. I'm doing an awful lot more of my own work because I have the time. So it was time for me to do that. Sorry, I'm kind of maybe not answering your question. I love teaching. I really enjoy it. I'm in a great position now because I'm teaching ceramics. Over the years, I've had to teach drawing, painting, sculpture, batik, interior design. I can't even remember, graphic design, everything and anything to keep going. And I used to coordinate courses. I don't do that anymore, so I'm just going in, teaching ceramics and doing my own practice, and it's a lovely place to be. But I love the engagement with the students. I enjoy the coming out of the studio as well, not just being inside your head all the time. It's good. Yeah. And I teach in Douglas Street campus in Cork.
Anyone else?
Just one more question. So more to do with the swimming, actually. You say you use a snorkel mask and all. Do you just generally stay around the surface, or do you dive down?
I don't dive.
You don't go down?
No.
So it's all, everything
Yeah.
experience is
Yeah, because I'm actually trying to get a bit of distance in as well. So, yeah.
So
Yeah.
you swim across the and see
Yeah.
just from the surface.
Yeah, I do, yeah. The reason I started with the snorkel was that I had a problem with my neck, and I went to the chiropractor, and he just said, you need to, if you want to keep swimming, you need to start using a snorkel so you're not going and you're not lifting your head up and down. So, and it was a happy accident. Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
an amazing experience. when
Yeah.
You can actually see
The thing is, I can't swim in a straight line to save my life, because I just get so involved with what's underneath, and I go off swimming with a gang of swimmers, and the next thing they're over there, and I'm like over here because I've gone off on a tangent. Yeah.
Is there any question you would like to be asked and I didn't ask?
No, I think we've covered it all. I think we're good. Yeah. Thanks very much for coming, everybody.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Like to thank Dorota for coming here as well, and taking the time out to do this. And Lucy and Robert are amazing hosts. Yeah.